Welcome to the Palette Talks podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Palette Talks podcast. This is your host, Jason, and today I'm just so pumped for this episode because we're joined by one of the most admired and popular artists in the lo-fi scene. And I don't want to waste your time no more because he is none other than Damien, aka Lo-Fi Boy. Hey, man, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Pretty good. What's up?
Life's good for me, bro. So, for the people out there, I know you're really big. You're very big out there, but could you
Thanks.
introduce yourself to the audience? Maybe just who you are and where you're from and what do you do?
So, my name is Hulk Hogan, and I'm from Florida, and I make lo-fi music for people to listen to when they're studying or yeah.
Yeah, super simple. I really love your music, by the way. It's something personal for me, and I've been just hearing a lot of your music, when I just was getting started to listen to lo-fi music. And one of your most
Mhm.
popular songs that you have ever released is, Sex for Breakfast. It was about
Right.
a year ago, I think. And
In March last year.
March last year, yeah. And you actually just released the second one, right? Was last
Yeah.
November. So, I want to ask you, like, how did the idea of doing a second one occur? Like, what was in your mind then that make you decided to, I'm gonna make the second one for Sex for Breakfast?
Well, the idea, there wasn't that much thought put into the idea. It was mainly just me looking at my demographic and like who was listening to me and like what they were listening to, and I was like, all right, this is my top song. Like, if I make a sequel, like, I wonder if it'll do good. I wonder if it'll be supported like the first one, which it is. So I'm totally appreciative of my fans for making that blow up like it did. It's about at 310,000 streams, and it's been like 2 weeks. But the idea, it was mainly just looking at the first one, seeing how well it did, and creating a second one. So it's more like me uploading the second song, and it sounds way different, but it's just like representing how much progress I've made since the first one.
Yeah, that's a very interesting take to see, like, you can compare like the first one and the second one and how much you have progressed, right? It's a very different
Yeah.
vibe, and I really enjoy that. I really like listening to something new. I love listening to the old stuff as well, but just listening to
Right.
something just fresher. It's much more encouraging. It's much more chill. It's much more intriguing as for me. And I discovered that a lot of your songs actually have samples, which are from Shiloh Dynasty, right? So,
Yeah. There's a good few of them.
yeah, what do you think about that? Like, what makes you want to use a lot of Shiloh's samples?
So there's actually a actual like reason for it. I see a lot of other artists. Some of them I know personally, and it isn't shots at them or anything, but a lot of like artists in the community, especially like in 2017, like early 2018, it sort of died out then. A lot of people were sampling Shiloh and using like her guitar loops and her singing loops, and they would just put really mediocre wallpaper sounding beats over Shiloh's stuff. And it sounds nice, but how is that progressing the genre? Like, you're not going anywhere with it. So me coming up from being raised off of EDM music and learning to produce from EDM music back in 2012, I was like 11 years old. I was like, what can I do differently from everyone else, but still like fit myself into the category where everyone else is. So like it still gets seen, it still gets the attention, but you grab their attention even more by doing something different from everyone else.
Yeah, and I'm actually intrigued that you said that you started actually with EDM back in 2012, and I really want to take this like way backwards. Like you started with EDM in
Yeah.
2012, and what was the journey like for you? From EDM, then you progressed to lo-fi, which I think it's a completely different vibe. Like, what makes you
Yeah.
make that
One's
change?
up, like one's like more upbeat. The other one is more like
Yeah.
mellow and relaxed and chilled out.
Mm.
What made me, like how it all started.
Yeah, the
Um,
process. Yeah.
it was 2012. I was 11 years old, and my mom
Wow.
showed me Skrillex,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So my mom's like a big part of the whole entire trying to like get me to listen to different things. And it's always your mom. It's always your mom or like your dad or whatever parent you have. They'll just try to influence your music taste. So for me, she would listen to EDM and show it all to me, and I would just sit there and be like, how the hell do you make these sounds? Like I can swear on here, right?
Yeah. No problem. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, how the hell do you make these sounds? Like,
Yeah.
what goes through your mind and makes you like do that? What makes you put that sound there? What makes you
Mm.
like make the sound from scratch? Because a lot of EDM is like produced from scratch. There's barely any samples in EDM.
Yeah.
So it really interests me for a while. So from 2012 to 2015, I was on the EDM train, just listening to anything I could. I would try to make music under different names, and it did not go anywhere. But at the same time, I was teaching myself production,
Mm.
and it was helping me like learn how to use different softwares. So that helped a lot. So when 2017 came around, I heard a mix of lo-fi music. Actually, I heard vaporwave first,
Mm.
then I dove into lo-fi music from there. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. Like, maybe I should stop making these really fast, like up-paced beats. Like, I should do something more mellow, like chilled out. And then I learned how to sample, and it's not very hard unless you want to do something cool with it. So I learned how to sample interestingly. And yeah, from 2017 to now, I've just been making lo-fi music, but also like putting my own twist on it.
Mm.
So yeah, that's pretty much how it all started till now.
Yeah, that's an interesting story, and I think it's actually something that should be highlighted in for artists out there, and actually for every person out there. Like, sometimes we want to do something, but we try to do it in the world's way, in a way like
Mm-hmm.
we want to do it like the same way like everybody does it, but to add your own
Right,
twist, like what makes you authentic. I think that can give so much more value. Like that's what makes you
definitely,
different, right? And
exactly.
that's really interesting when you said that you actually want to add some twist to your music, your sounds, and listening to your story, you actually are influenced a lot by EDM music. So, can you maybe explain a little bit about what parts of the EDM genre that actually affects your music making process in the lo-fi genre?
That's interesting. So complex drum patterns are one main thing that ties those together, because EDM music, like, it can be really simple, um, but there's so many sounds that you use when creating a beat for an EDM song, or at least there was when I listened to them, and they're really complex beats. Now, given that, I was also a percussionist in sixth grade, all the way through middle school, and like half of high school.
Mm.
So I was always beat oriented. I never got into melodies or actual notes. It was always just beats. Like, how can I do this? Like, how can I make this like kick this certain way? Like, how can I get you moving to like what I'm making? So EDM was the perfect thing for me because complex drum patterns and like how to make someone move this way, how to make someone feel this way based on like the beat behind the song or the lyrics. So what I try to do with lo-fi is the same kind of thing. What I do is I make like a simple beat, right? Then I randomly go through my percussive sounds, whether it's like auxiliary sounds. I can't talk. Whether it's like auxiliary sounds or just really like small intricate sounds, I find a place for every single sound that I go through. Like if I'm scrolling down and I hear a sound and I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. How can I implement it in the song? With my knowledge of like how beats work from school, like I put those together and I make my own intricate beats. So that's where that all ties together.
Wow, yeah, that's actually fascinating. So complex drum patterns bring a lot of influences to your music making, especially in the lo-fi. You're the lo-fi boy, right? Um,
Yeah.
but do you actually still do EDM on the side?
Oh no, I gave that up a while
Ah,
ago. I may pick it back up at some point because once I started making lo-fi music, it was really all just samples. There
yeah.
was never really me recording on pianos or controllers or instruments, but I'm starting to get into that. So like on Sex for Breakfast too, I played keys under the song. I have songs coming out of me just playing guitar and singing. So I'm trying to step away from samples and like be more original with things.
Mm.
So EDM is based around being original with sounds that you record. So I could try it at some point.
And um, I just listened to what you said, and you said that EDM is there. I don't know if this is right, but there are actually like more originalities in EDM than lo-fi, like
Right.
generally speaking. And do you think the repetitiveness and the sampling, the oversampling in the lo-fi scene is actually a part of like the identity of lo-fi scene itself, or do you think it's actually something that should probably shift more because it lacks creativity and originality, in your opinion?
That's a really interesting question. I'm glad you asked that. Um, See, you can have repetitive lo-fi music if you do it right. If you add more elements under it or you keep it interesting. But if you play a loop for 2.5 minutes straight, like unless like I know there's some people who can like stand that and listen to that because they're just putting it on while they're doing whatever around the house, because that's also one purpose of lo-fi music, just to have it on in the background.
Hmm.
But I feel like could you actually restate the question? I have a bad memory.
Yeah, so like what are your thoughts about like the repetitiveness? Because I've been listening to a lot of like oversampling. Like I've been hearing the samples for like in like 10 different songs. Like do you think
Yeah.
it's already a part of the identity of the lo-fi genre itself? Or do you think
Yeah.
it could change? Like do you think it's
Oh
something
yeah,
good or it's
yeah.
something bad?
It
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
I don't think it's bad. I feel like repetitiveness is definitely like a trait that lo-fi music has. Um because I mean that's how it started. You take a sample, you loop it instead of playing the whole entire song out for what it actually was.
mm,
You take cuts out of the song, you customize it how you want. Like you take a piece of music that inspires you or that you like and you make it yours somehow. So it's not exactly a bad thing for the community. I feel like it does need to progress, like
mm,
everything musically. Like it's a constant progression, whether it's your career, your ideas, like your image, your ego, anything. Like it's always moving forward, because if you're not moving forward, like everything you work for, like it'll either plateau or it'll go down. Like you are constantly working. You can take breaks,
mm,
but you're constantly progressing, like as a person with this career. It's really a self-driven thing.
mm,
So for progression, of like the genre, I would say like how it would progress. It's like more intricate. I can't even say that word right now. But the beats would have to be more intricate. Samples would have to be flipped different ways, and I do see that a lot. I see small artists doing that, and then they'll hit me up and they'll be like, "Yo, like I've been listening to you forever. You really inspire like my music. I love how you're so different with things." So I'm really trying to push the progression of the music. I know people who have moved on from lo-fi music to just hip hop music. They start doing vocals. They make pop music. Like, I'm not saying that I'm not doing that, because I am also trying to go past lo-fi music and do vocal projects and such. But with Lo-Fi Boy, I want to continue making intricate lo-fi beats where people like re-listen to a song and be like, "Yo, like I've never heard shit like this before. It's crazy."
Yeah, that's a very good point. Like, there needs. I also agree with what you said. Like, I think there needs to be like an intricate progression, um, especially on the music itself. I know we have been associated like with a lot of hip hop, and there might be like mixed with
Yeah,
pop, or I don't know, maybe one day country music. Like, we don't know, right? Like,
yeah. There's lo-fi music for any genre. Basically, you take like a country song, for
yeah,
example. You like slow it down. You make it sound like it's on a vinyl player. Add like a little hip hop loop to it, and you got like lo-fi
yeah,
country.
exactly. Like, sometimes we think like this would not happen. Like, we saw what happened with Lil Nas X, and it was a huge
Yeah,
success. Like,
yeah, yeah.
everybody thinks it's a joke, but he's doing something there, right?
Yeah, like regardless of if you think the song is good or if you like Lil
Mm.
Nas X or not, like regardless of your opinions on him, that whole entire Old Town Road like fiasco that happened with all the
Yeah.
remixes and just the song itself and how it came up, it was like executed really well. Like it broke records, it topped the charts for like a long
Mm.
time. It finally died out because like most things
Yeah.
do die out when it comes to music because the industry is always
Mm.
moving. Um, but like that was executed perfectly.
Yeah, and I saw like an article about him, and he's actually a real genius. Like, he actually went to like TikTok and Reddit, and he actually made memes about it. That's why his songs
Hmm.
go viral, and he's actually a very great viral strategist, in my opinion. Like, just like,
Right.
okay, like, I think it's a decent song. Sometimes, when you heard it in the radio, like, sometimes you want to throw up as well. But um,
Yeah, I've heard
he's
it a
like,
lot.
he's very smart in how he executed, how he actually also marketed his music. Um, but I want to talk more about you now. Let's get a bit more
Hmm.
personal. Throughout this journey of,
All
of
right.
your life,
I like personal.
yeah, like throughout
Yeah.
this journey of being an artist, of being a user, like, what have been your biggest challenges that you faced, and how did you face it?
Um, Currently still facing these
Mm.
problems, but um, dealing with yourself is a big problem as an artist, or at least it is for me, because I'm constantly wanting to do different things. I'm constantly at my computer trying to do something new. I make like a new song every day. Half the time they don't see the light of day. Like
Mm.
I have hundreds of songs that people have never heard before, hundreds of loops that people have never heard before. And there's that. There's having to maintain your life with your music. So the biggest struggle for me is myself. I'm constantly overwhelmed with so many ideas that I can't stick to one of them and fully execute it without getting sidetracked on another. So that's it's a lot of personal problems um, that I struggle with. So how I deal with it is I just sit down, I breathe for a minute and I just start something new. And I've just told myself, if I start something new every day, like if it doesn't come out good in the end how I wanted, then that wasn't it. That wasn't the one. And then I just keep going until there's one that I like, and that one is the one. Because it's really the process for me of making music is it's all just ideas. Like every day is a new idea, sometimes more than one idea, but every once in a while you'll have that one idea out of 10 ideas, and that's the one that you release. That's the one that blows up, or it doesn't, because you never really know. So yeah, biggest struggle is myself in dealing with my emotions when it comes to being an artist. It's definitely a hard thing to do.
Yeah, and I genuinely believe that, you know, I think we should prioritize like ourselves, like our mental health, our happiness, like more
Right.
than the perfectionism, this ideals that we envision in our minds, like what we should do. We got to do this for today. And sometimes it cripples people. I think sometimes when we actually get way too anxious about this, like I really need to get this done. But like if you want to just
Mm-hmm.
scrap it and do another one, like do it. Like don't let that
Exactly.
actually stop you from being mentally aware, mentally healthy. And I think that's something
Yeah.
that every artist is struggling with. That's something I struggle
Yeah.
with. Yeah.
The thing I tell myself is you are your music. You take your feelings, right? And you turn them into sound for other people to hear so they can hear what you're going through, whether that's your way of coping or whether that's your way of helping other people going through the same thing. You take your feelings and you convert it into sound. So it's not exactly an easy thing to do because you're taking your feelings, turning them into sound. So if you're not like 100% with yourself out of the studio, then going into the studio and not putting in the 100%, your mind isn't clear, like it's going to affect your work, which also causes you to make a new song every day, and 1 out of 10 of those songs is like like it satisfies you. So that's what I'm going through.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yes.
You are your music. Yeah.
And I've always believed that ever ever since the get-go, like you are your music. I take my I take my feelings and I convert them into like an audible source.
Yeah, and I think feelings and emotions do play a big role, a big part in music. I think the
Mm-hmm.
best music out there, the best music you make, you produce, are actually the music that is touching your heart, like the music that is true to yourself. Like it's the product of your feelings, the product of your
Mm-hmm.
situations. And I think even though it's actually your struggles and your challenges, but we can actually also package all that through a product called music, and that from that through that we can actually relate with other people as well who are facing the same challenges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, what you're going through, somebody in this world of 8 billion people, there's someone else going through something similar or has already gone through it. So if they hear that, they can relate with you. And that's why I do it, because if someone hears it and they have, and they text you or they show you, however, that they've reciprocated and heard your message, and it helped them. That's why I do it. And I've had those experiences before. I've had people text me on Instagram saying, "Hey, like you've helped me through a really like rough time in my life." And I look at that and I'm like, "Okay, now look at my inspirations. They've helped me through a rough time. Look how I feel about that. Like it's amazing." So for me to be able to do that for other people is just I can't fathom it. I still don't know how to feel about that. It's crazy that I've been able to help possibly hundreds of people go through everyday life with their struggles.
Yeah, and I think it's more than hundreds. It's more than thousands. I think you get such a huge spirit influence. You know, you've been reaching out to so many people, and personally, I just want to thank you for that and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Definitely.
But you know,
Yeah.
you influence so many people. But I want to talk more about what influenced you. Who influenced you? So, who is the most influential person in your life? What?
Hmm. In my life,
Or in your music process, like whichever you want to bring
right?
it.
Yeah, I was about to. Yeah. So my influence constantly changes, as does my like music taste. So it's a very constant changing thing. So I have to say one of my first big influences was The Weeknd. Not really, because like I mean, obviously yes, he was my influence. I just said it,
Yeah.
but our music differs obviously, so it's not really the same. But the way he executed it, his story, like how he quit school and focused on music and spreading his message. It may not have been a good message. It may have been like pretty like morbid and full of drugs and sex and alcohol, but it's the fact that he cared about it so much and he put it out there, and look where he is now. So big influence was The Weeknd. The guys at OVO, they're really like powerful people, and that inspires me. But on the indie side of things, Rex Orange County is a big inspiration for me now. I sound like him, actually. My friends say when I sing that I sound like him, and it's kind of scary because I see it too.
I understand why they say, you know.
Yeah, I've done covers of Rex's songs before, and people really like it. Who else? Tyler the Creator, definitely one of my biggest inspirations. As he is for most artists on interviews, they're like, yeah, Tyler's my big inspiration. I was at Camp Flognaw a few weeks ago in LA with my girlfriend, who's asleep on the bed right now. Or maybe she's not. She's just like eavesdropping. But like, yeah, we went to LA for a week and we went to Camp Flognaw. We had super VIP passes, so we like got a bunch of cool shit and got to be in the VIP section. But yeah, Tyler is a big ass inspiration for me. Just his story really gets to me. How he like his execution for coming up was so crazy to me, because he would always talk and sing and rap about really controversial things that, you know, nowadays if you hear that, people are going to be offended and they're going to like scream at you, cancel you, do whatever they do, which like I understand for certain things, like yeah, it's not cool to be racist or homophobic, like fuck that, like we don't fuck with those types of people, but he was still rapping about that shit, and it got attention. Like he did something to get attention, and sometimes that's what you have to do to get where you want to be. You need the attention of people. So he did what he needed to get that attention, and then once people were finally listening, even if it got him like banned from a country for a while, like he records Flower Boy, he comes out even though we already knew, and just a whole different sound. He's always had a different sound. Personally, I feel like he's always had a different sound, but after Flower Boy came out, I'm not gonna say that was one of the first like things I've heard of him, because like my friends have always been listening to him for a long time, so like I've always heard his music. But after Flower Boy, I really like clung to Tyler and him, like his story, his music, and not even just like the lyrics in his music, but like the sounds he's used, why he's used them, what emotions draw out from what like sounds he uses, which is another thing that interests me, but that's a different story. His flows are really complex. He talks about deep things. He does, but not all the time. He doesn't talk about just drugs and alcohol. He's talked about some pretty fucked up things, but it's not always just drugs and alcohol and getting money. Like, he talks about real things going on in his life, so I really appreciate that from him. So yeah, Tyler, biggest inspiration. I want to meet him one day. I want to smell him. I want to see what he smells like. Probably smells good.
I mean, he always looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking sexy. I'm not gay though, but he's fucking sexy.
Yeah. So those are the people that influence you, and I believe that everyone out there, and me myself, we all got our own like influences, like who we are influenced.
Yeah, I definitely have more, but just like the main ones. Yeah, that's all I would talk about, just the main ones, because I could go on forever about the people I like and why I like them and all that shit, but we don't have time for all that because I could go on forever.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm gonna talk about this, or maybe we can cut it later, but I don't want to mean to be disrespectful, but we know.
You can ask anything. I really don't care.
It was about Juice WRLD, right? It's that what happened with him,
right?
And
yeah,
from that, actually, there have been a lot of awareness on drugs, and
I know I've seen.
Yeah, like it's very sad, but I think it brings a lot of awareness.
Yeah, I've seen that. The morning it happened, my girlfriend woke me up and told me, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, is this really happening? Like, they're taking like all these huge influential people now." I have a theory, and you're gonna call me crazy, and everyone watching this, you're gonna call me fucking crazy. But I was with my friends. We may or may not have been smoking weed, but that's beside the point. And I sat there and I thought about it. I'm like, okay, half the people that are dying on us right now, there's been like speculation that they sold their soul to the devil, they joined the Illuminati, right? So there's always that speculation. You're like, your favorite artist blows up, you're like, all right, he's in the Illuminati, like, okay. So my theory, I'm gonna try to like not talk forever about it, is you have X, you have Pete, you have Mac Miller, you have Juice WRLD, you have other artists that are just dying for like drug related causes or just people killing them. All around the same age, all of them are influencing millions upon millions of people. Like, the whole world knows them, right? If they sold their soul for a set amount of years of success, a set amount of years of having money and influence on everyone in the world, the deal is you get this many years of whatever, but by the time like you're this age or after like a set time, you're gonna die. Now you're gonna die, right? This is where it gets fucked up. I believe, I'm just gonna say it out loud, straight up, I believe that all these influential artists who are impacting millions of people aren't actually dying, but the Illuminati is taking them to a secured island somewhere in the world, right? Gathering them all together. While we're vulnerable from them dying, they influence us. They quote die, so we're all depressed and weak. They're all on an island right now. They're collecting the most powerful people, and they're gonna take over the world. Kind of like Total Drama Island, but like on like a more like morbid, extreme scale.
Yeah.
I don't know how that sounds to anybody, but like that's what I like. I think they're on a fucking island. All of them are like, I'm not gonna live past 21, or I'm gonna be 21 forever. So what if you're on the fucking island and you just don't age? You're 21 forever. You're immortal. Therefore, everyone on the island is immortal. Therefore, no one will die while they're still collecting people to take over the world.
Okay.
Like, gotta think about it. There's some crazy shit going on. Like, I think there's like I don't think it's a coincidence that this is happening. You probably think I'm fucking crazy, but yeah, that's what I think.
I mean, that's a theory, right? That's your theory, right?
It's definitely a theory until it's proven, which I'm betting my money it will be proven.
Yeah. Ooh, that would be fun. I would find that island.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Yeah, we're definitely moving on. That got kind of scary.
So this recent week, we actually it's viral. You know, the 2019 Spotify Wrapped, and I saw your 2019 Spotify Wrapped, and man, I must say it was incredible. You had such an incredible year. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Out Here Loud. You get over 9.8 million streams, 380,000
crazy,
hours,
honestly.
2.3 million listeners. That's like a whole lot. Scattered across.
Yeah, that's about 40 years of listening time.
That's crazy.
I'm like not even halfway to 40 years old yet, so like that's crazy. It's like my lifespan times 2.
Yeah, and like I hope it's over 21. By the way, but yeah, you've been just reaching so many people, man. And we've been seeing a lot of talks about these stats and numbers. I know Spotify's
when it all came out, all my friends, all my artist friends, everyone was just posting theirs, and I felt like a little like Christmas get together. We're all like showing each other, and we're all like, "Yeah, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you too." Like we were all just like happy for one good day, just like appreciating each other.
Yeah, and I love how like when we post it, like we want to thank the audience, like you want to thank the people, like the people who support you, like. But you know, we get some people who compare each other and like making them more depressed. Like their numbers are not so bad, but I've like literally all the posts that I've been seeing, that all the people that posted the Spotify Wrapped were actually like super grateful for everything that happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't just show you like your general like you got this many streams, this many hours, this many listeners, this many countries. Like it was like you've been listened to this many minutes, so that equals this many years, or this is how many like minutes, or this is how many nights people chose to listen to you between this time and this time. They chose you over sleeping, and for me that was like 7,778 nights. So that's like 21 years worth of losing sleep listening to my music. Like if that doesn't hit an artist in their heart, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Because like that got me. That I was like, wow, like that's been me listening to other people instead of sleeping. So like that goes back to like people are doing that for me. Like I don't know how to feel. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I love how Spotify actually translated those numbers, like those data, into something that is meaningful, like to make you think in a different perspective. Like, hey, do you realize that from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m., this is the amount of hours that people listen to your music? Like,
honestly, I got some insomniac fans.
Yeah, and
just don't sleep.
Yeah, everybody's just listening to your music, man. And yeah, I think there's a distinction. Like numbers are not. It's not essentially like something that's bad. I don't believe it's bad. I think it's good. It can give you a perspective of like, wow, there are this many people, like these many hours,
right?
And like, and
it's definitely a confidence booster too. Like people don't realize that artists, they will see their numbers, and regardless of if you believe numbers matter or not, or if you like, I don't know, if you see your numbers go down, you can't tell me that you won't feel some type of way about it, because trust me, I know about that. I was added to the Lo-Fi Beats playlist on Spotify on New Year's this year at the start of 2019. I was on there for 4 months, and it brought in 400,000 or 500,000 people to my page, and they took me off one day out of nowhere, not telling me anything. I lost like 400,000 people in the span of a month. my stats went down, my pay went down, my confidence went down the most. They just added me back to it for Sex for Breakfast too, so I'm like hoping and praying that like I'm on there for a good amount of time or like never taken off, because you know, your stats go down, like, yeah, it'll make you work harder to get back to where you were. That's what I did. But like, there's going to be that like period of time where your confidence is just blowing because you're seeing them go down thousands every day.
Yeah, especially like when you are added to the Lo-Fi Bits playlist, which is like, I think it's the biggest playlist ever, over 2.5 million followers. It's crazy.
Yeah, I haven't dove into like how many followers all the playlists have, but I know that one's pretty big. I was added to it before it hit 1 million followers, so it was like really early on.
Yeah, and like,
I need to like figure out who curates all these things. I need to talk to them.
That's actually,
I need to like
I was actually
listen.
curious. So it's an official curated by Spotify, right? So it's
Yeah, like it's people who work there. They have like a team of people who curate different genres, I guess. I just don't know who or how to get in contact with them. Like, I guess I'm not that big yet, but like one day I'm gonna get that big. I'm gonna walk up to Spotify's door and be like, who the hell is running this playlist? And I just want to know why y'all took me off that one time, because that kind of hurt.
and now I get a theory. Like, what if like the people who curate the Spotify playlists, they have so much power, right? And like
they really do. They control if my bills get paid or not, because I don't have a job, and I've never had a real job before. I'm 18. I turned 18 this year, and like this has always just been my source of income, and I'm like really grateful for that, because like all my friends are working full-time jobs at like restaurants, and I'm sitting on my ass playing video games half the time and doing what I love, and I'm making like 10 times more than most of them. And like it's not even rubbing it in their face, it's more like I'm just really lucky, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, and you actually can be an inspiration to your friends, like
Exactly. They've all tried to rap, and I can't say, I'll be honest, I can't say like it's worked out for like some of them, but like slowly I'm just helping them get into the right mindset, because most of my friends are stuck in the I want to be just like this rapper, so I'm going to do exactly what they're doing, and that's not how you get somewhere, because I guarantee you, if you want to sound like Juice WRLD, a million other people want to sound like Juice WRLD, and we don't need a million Juice WRLDs. We had one, and one was enough, So most of them are stuck freestyling and smoking and listening to tight beats and just freestyling and using triplet cadences when they rap. Like all they do is triplets. I'm like, listen, like triplets are nice every once in a while. They're nice here and there throughout a song, but if a whole entire song is just straight triplets and they don't have meaning, it's just freestyle bullshit. Like it's okay to freestyle, but not every single time. When are you gonna write actual music? Like I'm trying to break them of being stuck in triplets, because that's a big thing on the radio right now. People are just using triplet cadences, like the Versace. Like you know what I mean. Like I just wanna take that, and I wanna just smash it on the ground and like open up the door for like complex flows, like flows that like you could be like, damn, that flow went hard, like how did he do that? Like this guy's onto something, rather than just triplet, because that's all it is now.
Yeah, sometimes I'm sick listening to those triplets, but
I know. I can guarantee you, there's over 1,000 songs that sound exactly the same. Wallpaper beats with triplets over them.
It sounds like the same thing.
Like literally, like the people who like started the triplet wave, like Migos. Like it's been a thing in the 80s. Like it was a thing, and like boom bap, like that was good back then. Like I liked that, but I feel like the only people who could pull it off were the people that reintroduced it into this like mainstream, because like they took it, but they like had their own like twist to it. Like they said words differently, they like said it with different attitudes. But then you have a bunch of people wanting to rap who are doing the same thing, but it just sounds like they're talking instead of rapping. So like it's like you got to just take a second and like do something different, like find yourself and put yourself out there rather than trying to be someone else. Yeah, I talk a lot.
Yeah,
My
it's
bad.
all good. It's all good. Like, yeah, I saw a quote and it said like, "Be yourself because everybody else is taken," and that's like,
Right.
that's so true. Like, especially in the creative process, like,
Exactly.
don't try to like follow. Like, you can get inspired, but you gotta do it your own way.
Yeah, you can sound similar to somebody, but don't be them. Like everybody is inspired by something. You can't tell me that something hasn't inspired you, or you haven't liked something enough to want to do it too. So like people could say that I sound like Joji when I sing. It's like, okay, like yeah, because I like Joji. I take his vibes, his music, I'm inspired by him, but I do what I do. But you may hear like influence of Joji in it because I am inspired by him, you know. It's like it's kind of a given.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's super interesting. So, Damien, like, do you have any advices, before we end? Like, do you have any advices for people out there who wanted to start making music? Or, yeah, do you have any advices for them?
Okay. So whether it's producing or rapping or singing or music videos, like anything in the music area, like what you do, you get your inspiration, whether it's like Cole Bennett from music videos, Tyler from like actual music, like even like older boom bap music, like for lyrics, complex flows, like you take those, right, and you study them, and you just, I guess I wouldn't say copy it, but you see why they did certain things, or you see why they used certain sounds or certain words, and you learn from that and you use the idea, but you don't copy it. Be true to yourself. If you're sitting at your studio or whatever, your laptop, and you're like, okay, like how can I sound like this person? Then you need to stop and reassess yourself. You need to play around with things. Mostly for me, learning how to produce music was all trial and error. YouTube videos never helped me. They do now sometimes, but it's all just you like pick out this effect, you see what it does, you tweak it, you like figure out how to use it, you figure out like what works for you, because everybody's different. Everyone uses different software and they do different things with it. So it's all trial and error. Don't give up, because your first song isn't going to blow up unless, you know, Illuminati's involved and you're going to go to the island. But don't give up, because it took me months to get my first big promotion on a song. And that song is still going now after 2 years, surprisingly. So that's a big thing, and I'm highly grateful for that. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it, because you can do it. They just are pissed off that you're doing something with your life and they're not. So fuck them. And if you need any advice, like otherwise specific advice, whether it's for music or like life problems, like hit me up on Instagram at official_lo-fi boy. Like message me on my Snapchat. That's on my Spotify bio. It's in my Instagram bio. Like add me on Snapchat. Talk to me. Like if something's up, like I'll give you unbiased opinions. I'll help you through things. I will teach you to the best of my ability, because I'm not good at teaching, especially with music, because everyone's different. Everyone learns differently. But like if you need any music advice or you need an opinion on like a song, like send it to me, because I always respond to people, unless you're like like really annoying, or you send me a song out of nowhere and you're like, hey, like repost this song. It's like, well, what am I getting out of it? I'm not really getting anything out of it. Like, if you need help with anything, just message me. I'm not going to ignore you.
Those are really good advices. Like, you heard it, people. Like, go talk to him if you ever need anything. Slide into his DM, Snapchat. He's always available, guys. So, yeah.
Exactly. 25/8. I never sleep.
Awesome. So, do you have any shout outs or messages to anyone out there?
Oh, definitely. Shouts out Tyler the Creator for being sexy. He's never gonna see this, but if he does, you're sexy. I'm 18, so you're good. Shouts out my girlfriend sleeping right now. She's freaking cute. Shouts out Masked Man, Corey. That's my guy. He's from the UK. He's pretty good at making music. He's alright. He's kind of trash. Fucking hate him. Nah, that's my bitch though. I love him. Shout out Alex, Cloud Mac. He is really good. We have music coming soon. As soon as I find the time to write and record, because I'm bad at doing that. Shouts out my fans, because they're really what keeps me going. They get the bills paid, and they get you know, I don't know how to say it. They just keep me going. They're the reason I'm still doing this. And shouts out Spotify for that playlist placement that I just got, because Christmas would have sucked without it.
Awesome. Damien, thank you so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks. Yeah, shouts out you for doing this, because I rarely have ever done podcasts or interviews with people. I have one on Sunday in person, so that's going to be different for me. But yeah, like, you have a pretty good following on Instagram. I'm hoping people see this and, you know, take something from it.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of all the people listening will get value from this. Like, there's so many things you can learn from this. I learned so many things. I wrote it down. So thank you so much, man. Yeah, like, so many.
Definitely. I'm always trying to spit some gospel for you.
Literally, like, I learned so many new insights, and I'm just so thankful for you, man.
Yeah, I try. Thank you, though.
Yeah, and I would also like to thank everyone who have already listened to the podcast. Thank you so much.
Yeah, y'all are cute.
Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to share this to all your friends, your family, your mom, your dad, your girlfriend, your boyfriend.
Bro, yeah. Share it everywhere.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys and girls all get value from this conversation. Don't forget to share to everyone. Don't forget to relay and spread kindness and positivity and love everywhere you go. I'll see you in the next podcast.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, man. I'll see you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.